What up? We here with another episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Just kidding.
Me.
So, um, but yeah, I guess today I have my first guest on the podcast is Lee Mosley,
Thank you, everyone, for
also
having me.
known as my wife. And today, I don't know, we're just gonna talk. I'm gonna interview her about life and what's it like. So, I don't know. First question. Did you ever want to get married?
Ooh, good question. I always wanted to get married because I think as a part of my job, like in my older life, so much of what I do is just studying the way that culture moves. And I feel like every institution deteriorating has negative impacts on the health of individuals in our community. And there's probably two, but like one big area within that I value is partnership. And when I met Keith, like he didn't necessarily want to get married on paper, and it was really important to me. So he kind of compromised and obviously ended up liking it. But I think for me, marriage is security and commitment. And yes, like I don't really know why the government has to be involved, but it's just like the name of the game. And since we've been married, I feel like we have stepped into a more abundant life, and our relationship has become so much more rich. So, yeah, I wanted to get married, and I'm lucky I married you.
Cool. Okay, how about did you ever envision what did you envision wedding day to look like?
Okay. So, I was a rough and tough tomboy as a kid, and I mostly hung out with the guys and had a big brother. I never wanted a wedding. So, like, that was something fun that we agreed on in the whole situation. I never dreamed of like wearing some puffy dress or having a bunch of pictures taken of me or making people pay to come see me tell you that I love you. And I always just pictured a wedding being like ours, which was 5 minutes at the Los Angeles courthouse and Zeta Leslie signing our sheet. So our wedding was exactly what I wanted, and we ended the day with wings from a spot we liked in Highland Park. So I'd call it a good day.
Okay, cool. All right. How about
Quick plug for Cameron at Amuse Kava. Love the brand. So excited to be a part of it, and check it out.
I'm not drinking that. I'm drinking some tea right now.
Me too. Tea, but okay. What's next?
Um, how about kids? Did you ever envision a life where you'd be a mom?
No.
Next question. No, talk about that.
I didn't want to be a mom. Like I really never saw a future in my life where I had kids. I think everyone has their experiences that impact the way they see the world. And looking back, I would say I had a pretty good childhood, but actually, I don't really want to get into it.
Okay. We could go to the next question. Um, what what do you think, or just tell me some things that made you say yes? Oh, actually, let's talk about how I proposed and just what were your thoughts the day of and like how it came about.
Okay, cool. So we got pregnant out of wedlock. I apologize for that, God.
Why did you tell me?
But it was on purpose. And I was pregnant, and I kind of thought that Keith was going to ask me to marry him soon. So in November of 2023, I got home from a long day of working as a girl in tech in downtown LA. And at the door of our 650 square foot apartment, there was like a little note that said, it was like kind of like Saw. It said, "You want to play a game?" And no, it wasn't like that. I don't know what it said, but that's what it felt like. Kind of, it was kind of cool and spooky. And then I walked inside, and like basically what ended up happening is I went on a scavenger hunt to all of our favorite places in Highland Park. So the first clue took me to like this art park, and I had a hard time finding the next clue, but it was under a table that we like to paint on. And then that clue took me to a pizza spot where we had our first date that we really love. What was it called?
I forgot. It's like famous people names on it.
Yeah. Damn, it's gonna bug me.
I vividly remember it, but I don't
Me too. It
remember.
has like a red logo. It's in Highland Park. And then the next spot was like a park where we would go when we were skating and reading. And I thought that was the end of the scavenger hunt. So I just sat down on the ground for like 15 minutes and I was like, "Where you at?" Turns out there was another clue. So I got the next clue, and then it took me like under a bridge where we used to go practice skate tricks. And Keith was there, nervous as hell, and he got on one knee. How amazing would it have been to be one of the people just like walking your dog and you see a proposal? But he said a lot of nice stuff that I don't remember because I blacked out. And then I obviously said, "Hell yeah." And then we went home and made, what's that stuff called? Fondue, like dipped steak in it and stuff. Watched TV, sat on the ground just like this, and it was a dream.
Okay, so why did you say yes? Because you could have said no.
So I love Marquise.
Why are you talking to them? I'm interviewing you.
Okay, I love you, Marquise. But we met when we were like 20 in college. Keith's roommate, he lived with a bunch of football players, and one of them happened to be like my closest friend in college. And we met and we're friends, and obviously thought each other was cute. Like, I still remember when Keith followed me on Instagram before we met and liked one of my posts that looked like the Drake cover, and it said, "If you're still single, it's too late," because it was on February 13th. Can you believe I posted that to feed millennials? But Keith liked it. You liked it. And then we met, and obviously, like, I thought you were cute, but we were just friends. And we ended up dating other people and exploring life, and then reconnected in our late 20s after I had undergone a really traumatic season in my life. And we are just like so easy. Like, we are in flow. And I think even when we were friends, we were like, I always just felt like you naturally understood me and I naturally understood you, and we're both really complicated people. So it's that corny thing of like, we just fit in together. Like, we just fit. And that level of being seen and understood made me feel security. So like, I feel culturally, we hear a lot of women say, "I need stability and security from a man." And they talk about that in the financial aspect, which is of course one part of it. But security and stability from a man comes from a man being like aware and understanding and healed and able to see people for who they are. And that's what I found in you, even though both of our lives were a little bit fucked up. And I just felt like we would have an amazing, rich life together, and that we could get through anything. Like, I can't foresee anything happening in this life that breaks us apart because we started on this foundation of friendship. And I guess I would just also say, like, my last thing, I always go on so long, but I admire you. And there aren't a lot of people in life that I feel like inspired by, because I think I've just seen a lot of different things. And with you, like, whether you were working in the warehouse, driving DoorDash, making music, being a video production mogul, I always admired you. Like, I admired you when we were in the basement in college and you were drawing on your laptop with a Sharpie. I admired you when you played football and when you didn't. I admired you when you landed your first tray flip. Like, I'm just interested in you. And I think that constant admiration, like, keeps our relationship strong through all of the seasons of life. So saying yes was easy. And I also just want to say, like, for women in culture today, you have to look for more than just financial stability from a man. Like, we both have really complicated backgrounds and stories that we don't need to get into. But when we got together, I made money, but I wasn't financially literate. So I had a lot of debt. And Keith didn't make money, but he had no debt. He also had tons of ideas, but was having a hard time getting on a single path and putting the pieces together. And having worked in corporate America, like, I know how to do that. So I knew that you would make money and like be the provider. But if I had been looking for just that at 27 or however old we were, you wouldn't have fit that mold. And I would have missed out on a great man who now is a provider for a family. So I just think that it's like countercultural to invest in someone's potential with all of the narratives in pop culture today saying like marry a man who pays for everything, and it's like that was not our situation, and I'm grateful for that because we built this shit together, like from underneath the ground, like under the bottom up, and that just feels so much more fulfilling. So like you provided stability and security for me even though it wasn't financial. And I foresaw that you would be able to do that because I understood your personality and how you move through the world, and I believed in you. And I just hope that like we can inspire someone to give that guy a chance and ignore the pop culture messages telling you that like you shouldn't have to pay for a thing. Like, get your money up. It's modern day culture. Women are super educated. We are high earners, and like if you only look for that in a man, you will miss out on your person. So that's just my rant.
You're here, ladies.
Heard it here first, ladies.
Invest in that warehouse, nigga. I'm just playing. Okay, what is your favorite, or just maybe name a few things that you love about our dynamic, like things we do and.
I love being around you. Like, I have seen a lot of relationships where each partner wants to spend a majority of their time alone, and that is not ours. And that is intentional. Like, I think we both wanted a partner, a best friend, a husband or a spouse, a co-parent, like, I know it sounds bad, but like a parenting partner. And I think for both of us, it looked like our lives being deeply intertwined. So, like, we spend all of our time together, except when we have to go, like, work or travel for work or go to meetings in person. Like, we do everything together, and we like it. And that's what I love about our dynamic the most. Like, we know how to play different roles for each other. So like if I'm coming with you to a gallery event where you want to like meet people and network, I know what role to play there, right? Like it's not like I'm the star. I am like the backup. And I'm comfortable with that because I just want to be around you. And then like when we go to my things, you know how to let me have the spotlight and play the role of like I'm Lee's husband and be supportive. And I think we've gotten really comfortable being agile and dynamic in how we show up in the world for each other. So that's like my biggest thing. And the other thing I'll say is just like we live life to its fullest extreme in whatever that looks like for our current situation. So like before we had a baby, we lived a life of art. Like if we wanted to skateboard in the middle of the day, we went and skateboarded in the middle of the day. And did I come home with bloody knees? Like 9 times out of 10, 100%. But we just like wanted to be out there in the world. And our house was like full of creativity and painting and art. And we had like everything was like perfect. And then as we had a child, we still live life to the extreme, but it looks different, right? So we can't leave the house past 7 at night. But we do like take our baby to every event we go to, make sure she experiences good food at restaurants. Like we don't leave her at home with a babysitter when we go to a Michelin star, but still. And then I just think like, yeah, we're both explorers. So we just find ways to explore as a unit, whatever that looks like. And that's my favorite thing about our dynamic.
Okay. I don't want this to be super long, but maybe we could wrap with, what would you just say to some people that feel like marriage and parenthood is whack or not for them?
Here's the thing, like, I am very opinionated and I'm also completely non-judgmental. So it's an interesting role to play in the world. And my biggest guiding like belief is that you have to let people be who they are and accept them in the fullness of whatever their truth and authenticity looks like. I feel like in order to be in a healthy monogamous relationship, you have to be comfortable with confronting temptation and like what comes along with monogamy. We are Christian, like we believe in God, and so our basis in truth is like you are supposed to be in a unit and you are supposed to procreate. And obviously, based on what we were talking about earlier, that hasn't always been our belief. But I think that there's a reason that like that institution has persisted for centuries. Life is hard, and to me, life in a monogamous, secure, supported, honest, open, transparent relationship is easier. And that's the point, right? Like, you got to get through this thing and also make it as fun as you can. But for me, getting through it means feeling safe enough to be myself and to explore. And I found that in monogamy with you. And so marriage was a natural next step. And even though it's a tradition a lot of people are not interested in, I think it is the intended path of life. And then I guess like having kids is not a death sentence, and I'm not sure where that narrative came from, but to me, deciding to be a mom because I felt secure and protected in the presence of a strong man like you has made my identity so much richer. And I do just want to say to people that like are scared to have kids because culture tells you that it's like the end of your life, and next thing you know you're like wearing a Lululemon outfit and like carrying like one of those big totes and you're like, I'm a mom, check me out. That is not what motherhood has to be. Like, for me, motherhood is extremely spiritual. It's like the richest expression of femininity. And I am also a successful worker and a loving wife and an artist and a skateboarder and a student of culture, and my identity still exists, me at my core. And then I have my connection with you, and then I have my connection with Amari. And the three of us as a unit have made my life and my identity so much better. And I just think there's this misconception that there's this phrase you hear, you can have everything you want, but not all at the same time. And that is a lie. Like, I have everything I want all at the same time. And do I sometimes feel like crying in the shower? For sure. But I did before too. You know what I mean? Like your ability to withstand the challenges of life just grows as the challenges of life grow. So it's not that I'm more stressed than I was before, or like my life is harder than it was before. I have this capacity to do harder things because I made this decision with intention and like a promise to God that I'd be a mom and a wife. So we live a very untraditional lifestyle rooted in rich tradition. And I think it makes us a little different in a way that I really love.
Cool.
Do you have any thoughts?
No, I'm just glad. I don't know. I'm just glad that we found something that works for us I think that's important too. It's like what works for our situation may not be the solution to someone else's, but it just makes me happy that life, not, I was just gonna say feels easy. It feels easy, but like you said, like,
It's in flow.
yeah, yeah.
But it's hard.
Yeah, yeah. Life's still hard, but like flow is the word. Like it just feels natural. Like we're doing what we're supposed to do. There are bumps and turns and obstacles, but I like doing it with you, so it's good. All right. Well, see y'all later. Me and this motherfucker. Appreciate y'all. See you later.
Did we do good?
I think so. That was long as fuck though.
Was it?